Greetings, hello. Welcome to TFT Tarot for today. Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee, and this is me, Oberon, with Goth Tarot. It's my weekly look into the shadow issues of our lives. I have some new tools I've been exploring with, so I'm going to start off with work from The Secret Language of Darkness. It's a pretty interesting new oracle with lots and lots of stuff going on with it. I have to actually abbreviate its usage for the way that I construct Goth Tarot, because I use a multiple number of decks for different reasons, mostly for the visuals. I admit it, the visuals and the tone. So I'm going to start off with this reading, which will be more than a reading. Endings. Number 19. Endings. A natural progression for expansion of the soul. Everything eventually dies. Death is not terrible, a punishment, or an opposition to life. It allows new life to flow into existence. Embrace death as a part of life. By dying before you do, in this way, you are encouraged to embrace life. What thoughts, behaviors, or patterns would instantly fall away if death was imminent? You could begin to experience your best, most filling, and desired life by releasing them now. Are you compromising yourself because you don't want something to end? This approach to life can create anxiety around failure or new experiences. It is always unrewarding, as you can miss the meaning and magic of life. Embrace an ending and step into the fullness of life by finding gratitude and wonderment in all you have accomplished and created. It is time to release and honor all that you have done. As soon as you accept an ending, you can move ahead to create and accomplish more. And so once again, that's from The Secret Language of Darkness by Denise Jarvet. So this reading goes pretty much like most of my other ones. It will have several decks that will give us different meaning points. I'm going to start off with the Midnight Boulevard. And the Midnight Boulevard will reveal to us the dark design. And the dark design is the general tone and environment of your life or situations around you. Now, I must say that Goth Tarot was always intended as a collective kind of reading. And so for that reason, these cards could pertain to things that are larger than ourselves, more external. They could pertain towards the public trends of things that are going on now. I'm just saying that to give us a warning. It's the reversed King of Swords. The dark design says we are having a hard time deciding the right thing to do or the right thing for ourselves to do. There feels like an immense amount of injustice in the world that we're just literally not able to cope with. And in some ways, we may be trying to put off or delay decisions that are very important, or we're making decisions out of expediency, getting it done. Remember that the King of Swords normally is somebody who has a lot of that mental energy, but also there's a thrust of speed and maybe physical strength. I know it's more often present in the Knight of Swords, but the King of Swords are mastery. He's the mastery of justice, but also the mastery of challenge and of new projections of power. So I shall place him right there. That's our dark design from the Midnight Boulevard. We're next going to go into the dark drama. This truly may pretend to more external forces around us. It's kind of like the people whose energies or things that they talk about or put into situations have serious effects on us. They may cause drama in our life. It could be people who don't tell the truth. I often see the dark drama as about gossip kind of stuff, gaslighting kind of stuff. What is the dark drama for this week? And I'm using the Gothic Tarot on this one, by the way. It's the Fool. Well, that's going to be a little hard for me to consider here. The Fool's nearly always a good card, but I guess dark drama could be good. The dark drama suggests we are about to begin something really new that literally is a leap of faith, a putting of a sense of trust into the universe to have our back, to be caught in the web of life and be protected. And so even though there could be unexpected things happening, these we feel or trust to want them to be true or beneficial, at least in our favor. So the dark drama says, in your dealings with people, realize that unexpected things can happen and that consequences are not always bad. Look for the good consequences this week. They're bound to be there. All right, we move to card 3. And card 3 I call the Dark Shadows, because it's what haunts us. I'm using the Ghost Tarot for that. I haven't used that in a while. But the Dark Shadows is what is haunting us. What are the things that we can never quite banish or rid from our lives? We can, but maybe not without a lot of consideration and a lot of dedication to that task. That when we are haunted by things, whether they're our own feelings or the feelings that we get from the environment around us, or maybe even possibly things that are more on a spiritual or different vibratory plane than we are, this could be that indication. It's The reversed Knight of Cups. The reversed Knight of Cups. What haunts us? The feeling that we are removing ourselves from a loving world. The feelings that we are not going to be in love again, or that we don't have love in our lives. This is very important at this time because there is so much abandonment of emotional pleasure in our lives at this time. Doubtless it's due to worry and concern over all the things that are going on in the world. Are there ways to make this better for ourselves? The Dark Shadows is only telling us that it is pretty real, and that just as we can feel ourselves moving away from romance, relationships, emotional relationships, and bonding, we can move back towards them. It will be hard, but we have to remember love is literally a basic emotion. We have to have it in our lives. All right, I'm going to move on to the dark truth. The truth that represents a reality we have to accept. We don't necessarily have to like it, but it may be the real thing that's going on. It could be that this could represent forces or powers that are beyond normal accountability or understanding. Like I said, we don't have to like it. We don't have to hate it. We just may have to accept it. And it's the murder crows. I picked it for that reason. There's a true somber attitude going on in this deck. So what do you have for us, Murder of Crows? What is the dark truth or reality that we must accept? It's the reversed Queen of Wands. The dark truth is that perhaps all of our powers of persuasion, all of our powers to charm, all of our abilities to conceive our plans and know what we want and move towards them may not work in our current endeavors, whether it's the worldly situations going on or elements of our personal life. If we are trying to apply too much to something, we're bound to fail. There's a sense here that maybe the dark truth is we're not really as confident of ourselves, or we're not as confident that our truths are true, that the things we seek or that the things we want for ourselves or others we care about, maybe they're not the best thing. And so if I apply it to the national situation, I think the idea is that sometimes we get overwhelmed by all those messages out there that devalue us, devalue women, or devalue people on the LGBTQ spectrum, devalue people of color, devalue Mexicans, Middle Easterns, people of weird religions. That's the dark truth too, that maybe we have to look in ourselves and realize if we are doing that ourselves to others, we can't expect it to not be done to us as well. But I think a lot of this is about the fact that maybe there is the sense that our energies are not united enough to really move us forward, and that if we were relying on good charisma, good charm, good nobilities, they may be misinterpreted or not be able to be realized in their best light. So at last we come to what I call the dark destiny. And the dark destiny is overall the final result of things, perhaps. You know, tarot is really a snapshot in time. It may look like this, but it doesn't mean it absolutely has to be this. It doesn't mean that it couldn't change somehow now that we have more information. Having said that, I'm working with the Santa Muerte tarot. And like I said, this is the dark destiny. This is what it seems like likely to happen. Likely for things to move forward or to possibly complete. The dark destiny. It's the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords says we are our biggest enemy. We are what holds ourselves back. That if these questions about how we apply our energies or how we fear being lonely, not up to making important decisions or backing them up in our life, they imprison us. They hold us back. They have a power to limit. I didn't want that one. I want this one. They have a power to limit our actions or our abilities and our belief in ourselves. I think that's what's really the most important here, is that without being able to clearly, swords, understand ourselves in relationship to the world or the events and circumstances of our lives, we could flounder. We could be locked into things. And I'm just going to say it, I think sometimes that's social media and the internet, that our support system is just people that maybe we don't understand exactly really where they're at, unless they really are true friends that we know in other ways too, or we know deeply somehow. Other people, you can't ever be sure, really. You just can't. I know I'm being scorpionic and stuff, but trust yourself. Trust yourself that what you are doing is important. And if you remember our first card from The Secret Language of Darkness, endings, our first card. And that sometimes you have to understand that maybe you do need to die a little. I think it's time to move on then to our final oracle. And I'm going to be using the Dark Light Oracle. I look all Wicked Witch green here. I love it. Just need my pointy hat. It's around somewhere. So we want the Dark Light Oracle to give us our closing affirmation, if it will. Perhaps a little more guidance here. Playtime. Fun is calling you. Boy, did Mr. O set himself up for that? My goodness, it could be true that in a way I am often my worst enemy, that I'm so morose, neurotic. Somebody on Facebook said I always look like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Playtime. Fun is calling you. What I most enjoy in life are those moments when I can have some fun, spending time in nature, making some music, playing with my little winged friends. I think you've been working way too hard lately. And some real playtime is what you need right now. You can be serious later. Today I come to you as a reminder that life is not only about responsibilities, adulthood, ambition, and bravery, and I know some of this came up in our cards, it is also and foremost about lightness, cheerfulness, spiritedness. What lights your soul? What brings you joy? What makes you laugh? The right time to have a good time is now. Tomorrow will be too late. Gather some friends. Have a party. Enjoy yourself. Affirmation. I allow myself to play like a child, to laugh and have fun. I realize that life is short and I let go of unnecessary heaviness. So, there was a lot of stuff that just sort of said, like, you're your own worst enemy. You might as well get out and play. Hey, it's Wednesday. This weekend, go out and have a good time. Go somewhere and enjoy yourself, or do something that's fun. There's all kinds of things always going on. There really are. So I want to thank everybody for coming to Goth Tarot. I hope you enjoyed this reading. And I know that, it was a little bit hard in the beginning, the idea that we have to let some things go and honor that, and that the reading itself talked about, some of the difficulties we're facing. But our final affirmation says, take time out for fun. And it is so important when everything is so challenging right now. I know you can get outside just to breathe some air if you need to. I know you can do that. I know you can maybe take a walk somewhere. I know you can call a friend up on your phone and giggle with them about something. Take the time to do that. Honor that fact that you need to embody or embrace any emotions right now that could actually lift you up a little bit. So that's it. Hope to see you next time.